Welcome to the deep dive. So if you're working in the enterprise world right now, you definitely know that one of the biggest resource drains, well, it isn't just finding people, it's keeping the good ones you already have. Employee retention, it's really shifted, hasn't it? It's not just seen as an HR thing anymore. It's being called a leadership imperative. So today, our mission is to really dig into a platform that's using AI to tackle this head-on. NorthStar AI by QuotaPro Leadership.
Yeah, and we've got some solid sources for this one. There's a pretty detailed internal go-to-market strategy doc, and also the press release they put out dated September 2nd, 2025. And these really lay out NorthStar AI as, well, not just another piece of HR software. They're positioning it specifically as an AI-powered coaching platform. The goal seems to be taking that, qualitative side of leadership and making it quantitative, measurable, all aimed at stopping new hires from leaving so quickly.
It's a huge strategic play, and it clearly starts right from the top leadership there.
Yeah.
The whole idea seems driven by Joe Prillmayer, that's pronounced Prillmayer, who's the founder and CEO of QuotaPro Leadership. He really anchors the whole thing with this statement. Employee retention is no longer just an HR issue. It's a leadership imperative. That's a really significant shift in who owns this problem, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Sounds like QuotaPro is really trying to make leadership teams feel like attrition is their #1 metric to watch.
Exactly. That framing is like the cornerstone of their whole strategy here. They're hitting hard on the idea that it's leadership behavior, not just pay or perks. That really drives turnover. And if you buy into that, well, then the solution has to be coaching the leaders themselves, which they argue needs a new kind of approach, a new methodology.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that methodology then, because NorthStar AI isn't just AI magic, right? It's built on something specifically called the NorthStar Leadership Methodology.
Yeah.
What does that actually involve? Why these specific things for the AI to learn from?
Well, think of the methodology as the AI's curriculum, essentially. It focuses on 3 main pillars that QuotaPro, based on their research over the years, believes are key for retention. First, strategic alignment, making sure everyone on the team actually sees how their work fits into the bigger picture.
Okay.
Second, consistent communication, which is about, the frequency, the clarity, setting up good feedback loops.
Right.
And third, purpose-driven leadership. So fostering that sense of mission within the team. Why are we doing this?
It sounds like they're trying to, almost standardize good management practices or human connection. So if that's the how, what's the sort of elevator pitch? Why should a company actually buy this thing? Their main positioning statement sums it up pretty neatly. Lead with clarity, retain with confidence.
NorthStar AI is meant to be the digital nerve center for everything QuotaPro Leadership does. It brings together all their different tools, their diagnostics, their leadership programs, all onto one scalable platform. The big promise is moving from just qualitative leadership training to something measurable that demonstrably keeps people from leaving.
And who are they actually targeting with this promise? Because that GTM document, it gets really specific about the ideal customer.
Oh yeah, very specific. They've got 3 main segments in their sites. First, the big players, enterprise HR and L&D teams. The ones dealing with thousands of employees who need something scalable and data-driven. Makes sense. Second, they're looking at mid-market companies that are growing fast, the ones trying to scale up their leadership training and need tech to keep it consistent.
Okay.
And third, and this is interesting, they're targeting the specific buyer profile, someone in sauce procurement who specializes in talent tech, the kind of person actively looking for predictive HR tools, not just reactive ones.
Predictive, not reactive.
Exactly. They need to show this buyer it's not just another training platform. It's actually about mitigating risk. Financial risk.
Yeah, that framing is crucial, isn't it? Moving it away from being seen as just a cost center for training towards being an ROI tool for risk mitigation. This is where it gets really fascinating for me. How does the platform actually do that? How does it go beyond just reporting and get into that proprietary AI stuff? What's actually new here technologically?
The real innovation, according to the documents, is moving from looking back at data to enabling real-time personalized action. And that's driven primarily by what they call the Coach AI engine.
Coach AI.
Right. And this isn't just serving up like pre-recorded videos. It actually gives real-time coaching prompts to the leader right within their daily workflow.
Wait, like it pops up while they're working?
Essentially, yes. Think of it like a digital advisor nudging them. It might suggest, for instance, hey, you should probably have a quick 15-minute strategic alignment check-in with Sarah because her activity pattern suggests she might be starting to disengage.
Wow. So it becomes part of the daily routine, not just, that annual leadership retreat.
Mhm.
But how does the AI know Sarah needs that check-in? What's feeding those prompts? What's the data behind it?
Okay, so that's the predictive analytics layer. That's the brains, if you will. It uses machine learning to spot potential attrition risks really, really early on. And to do that, it relies heavily on two proprietary tools. These seem central to QuotaPro's intellectual property.
Okay, proprietary tools.
First is the attrition index. This is basically a score calculated by a pretty complex algorithm that measures how likely an employee is to leave. It looks at things like performance, how often they communicate, maybe project fit, lots of factors.
Right, an at-risk score. And the second tool?
That one's called the retention signal. So if the attrition index is the warning flag, the retention signal is more about the positive signs, engagement, potential positive momentum. The AI uses both of these signals, kind of the stick and the carrot, you could say, to translate that risk assessment into concrete, actionable suggestions for the manager. These indices are what QuotaPro seems to believe gives them the edge.
Got it. So the system is basically giving managers personalized homework based on really specific, real-time data about their team. What does that look like for the manager using it? What do they see on their dashboard? How's it tracked?
Yeah, the dashboard seems designed for quick action, not getting bogged down in spreadsheets. Managers get personalized coaching assignments, and these are tailored, importantly, not just to the team's risk profile, but also to the manager's own leadership style.
Oh, interesting. So it adapts.
Apparently so. A manager who's typically very directive might get prompts framed differently than one who's more collaborative.
Okay, that acknowledges leadership isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. Good.
Exactly. They also emphasize real-time feedback loops, so the manager can actually see if their actions are working. Did that strategic alignment check-in actually lower Sarah's attrition index score?
Closing the loop.
Right. And all this rolls up into the main engagement metrics dashboard. This gives the visual overview, satisfaction trends, retention rates, and crucially, the quantified impact of the leadership coaching itself. It tries to turn leadership effectiveness into a hard number.
And presumably for the big enterprise clients, it needs to handle the admin side too. The documents mention it tracks certifications. Can you just clarify those acronyms? They seem pretty important to QuotaPro's existing business.
Absolutely, and that's a really important link. The platform tracks CRAM, that's the Certified Retention and Management Program. Then there's CRL, the Certified Retention Leader, and MRL, the Master Retention Leader certification.
Okay.
Including this shows NorthStar AI isn't just about prediction. It's also a tool for measurable development. It makes sure the managers getting these AI prompts are also progressing through QuotaPro's established training pathway. It connects development directly to risk mitigation.
Okay, so if the product itself is built around this predictive engine and tying it to development, the big question is, how do they actually sell this? Convince skeptical companies. Let's shift to that go-to-market strategy.
Yeah, the plan seems pretty aggressive, and it definitely leans on their existing reputation in the leadership development space. Distribution is mainly through high-touch enterprise SaaS sales. So think large, direct deals with Fortune 500 type companies.
Direct sales force.
Right. They're also pushing hard on strategic partnerships with other HR tech platforms. They need to integrate smoothly, make it easy for companies to plug this into their existing systems via APIs.
And I thought the third channel mentioned in the sources was particularly smart. The referrals from their CRL and MRL alumni network. That's like having a built-in sales team.
It's a really clever move, isn't it? They've got this network of hundreds, maybe thousands, of leaders who are already certified, already bought into the underlying NorthStar methodology. These people trust the concepts already, so they're perfectly positioned to advocate for this new AI platform inside their own companies. It helps bypass some of that typical corporate skepticism you get with new tech.
Definitely. What about the money side? How is it actually priced and packaged?
It looks like a fairly standard tiered SaaS model. Pricing is based on user volume, how many managers and employees are on the platform. But critically, the pricing structure includes add-on modules for the more advanced stuff. This is where they monetize that unique IP we talked about.
The upsell.
Exactly. Clients pay extra for the detailed diagnostics that use the attrition index, and they pay extra for the module that tracks those CRAMAS, CRL, and MRL certifications. It builds in future revenue streams.
And the rollout plan they described also seems very strategic, very deliberate. Can you break down those three phases?
Yeah, it's very structured. Phase 1 is strictly a closed beta. And they're focusing it entirely on that loyal CRL alumni base.
Testing it with the true believers first.
Right. Make sure the initial feedback comes from people who really understand the methodology, helps them fine-tune those coaching prompts early on.
Okay, smart. Stress test the core ideas before the tech goes wide. What's next?
Phase 2 ramps things up quite a bit. That's an enterprise pilot program, and they're specifically targeting companies in the top 3 industries known for high attrition rates.
Yeah.
Places like certain tech sectors, healthcare, maybe finance.
Putting it straight into the fire.
Exactly. They want to prove it works in the toughest environments, where the ROI for improving retention is crystal clear and immediate.
That's a serious test bed. And phase 3 is the big public push.
That's right. Phase 3 is the full launch. And that includes adding features like dashboard benchmarking, letting clients see how their retention stats stack up against industry averages, plus full open API integrations become available. And importantly, the press release makes the point of saying NorthStar AI is just the first in a planned suite of intelligent tools within what they call the QPL Tech Stack.
So more AI tools are coming.
Seems like it. It signals this is part of a bigger, long-term AI strategy for QuotaPro across all their leadership development stuff, not just focusing on attrition.
Okay, so if we pull this all together, what's the big picture takeaway from this deep dive? It really feels like NorthStar AI is being positioned as a major change in how companies approach leadership development. Taking it from something kind of fuzzy and qualitative into this data-heavy, measurable system. A digital ecosystem, laser-focused on cutting down turnover, basically using data as a weapon in the talent war.
I think that sums it up well. And it brings us right back to that quote from Joe Prillmayer, doesn't it? Retention as a leadership imperative. NorthStar AI is designed to give leaders the tools, and maybe more importantly, the metrics, to actually be held accountable for attrition. But, if AI gets really good at personalizing coaching, giving those real-time prompts, predicting who might leave, it does raise a fundamental question, and this is maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. If the system handles the metrics, the warnings, even suggests the coaching actions, what does that change about the core human skills we need from leaders? The empathy, the creativity, the strategic thinking. Does leadership just become about managing the AI's outputs?
It's a really provocative thought to end on. Where does the human element fit when the AI gets this sophisticated? Excellent stuff. Thanks for bringing these sources in for us to dig into today.